This video is brought to you in collaboration with wowhead.com. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Shadowlands. Patch 9.1 changed Domination. By the time that I release this video, it should be out real soon. Now it's been a while since the game has launched. Let's recap the story that takes us into the next patch.
And I will set us all free.
Sylvanas Windrunner has stolen the Helm of Domination from Bolvar the Lich King and then split it apart, splitting the Veil into the Shadowlands. She's working together with Zovaal the Jailer. An allegiance that was formed after she threw herself from the top of Icecrown ended up in his domain. A bargain with the Nine Valkyr was needed to escape the Maw and keep her going. Over time, she got the title of War Chief, again due to the manipulations of the Jailer and his allies. They then pushed the world into war with Battle for Azeroth and sending many more souls his way. So this Jailer, as far as we know, he wants to break out of the Maw and have death wash over us all. This bald, handsome man was imprisoned there by his fellow Eternal Ones, his brothers and sisters, for some kind of betrayal. But in time, he has managed to forge his chains into a weapon. It's been revealed that Frostmourne and the Helm of Domination, those designs were actually ripped from the rune carver by the Jailer. They then ended up in the hands of the Dreadlords and killed Jaden, infused with the soul of the Orc Ner'zhul, and the Lich King was born. The Jailer also gathered many allies to his side, manipulated events towards his liberation. A drought is now hitting the Shadowlands. Once they had the Arbiter to sort the souls into the near infinite domains of the Shadowlands. With the souls also came their life experience, their anima, the lifeblood of this world. Once only a small trickle of irredeemable souls went straight into the Maw, but then, somewhere around the Legion time periods, the Fire Nation attacked. Alright, it might have been Revendreth or something else entirely. Either way, the Arbiter no longer functions, and all souls are going straight down into the Maw, which causes huge problems across the zones that we get to visit, and empowers the Jailer's plans. With the Veil opened by Sylvanas, Mawsworn are sent out to kidnap Bane, Jaina, Thrall and Anduin. Sawyers of the world, they're summoned by Bolvar to go after them. They're joined by Darian Mograine, the Knights of the Ebon Blade, as well as Tehran the Whisperwind. Despite being told not to do so, she's gone through the Night Warrior ritual to claim vengeance upon the Horde for burning down Teldrassil, kicking them out of their lands. Sylvanas still has her head on her shoulders, so her quest isn't quite finished. We start off in the Maw, the domain of the Jailer, where nothing is supposed to escape. We grab our stolen leaders, but we're unable to get them out of there. The Waystone, which is connected to the mysterious First Ones, it only responds to us for some reason, and so we're forced to leave them all behind and come back another time. Leading into Oribos, the Eternal City, our capital, where the caretakers like to remind us of the paths and the purposes. We also meet the brokers, super helpful beings that remind a lot of people of the Ethereals. They're very much into trading, gaining knowledge and power, but for what ultimate purpose is yet to be revealed. Since our leaders have been kidnapped by winged beings that sound really similar to the Kyrian, that's where our adventure begins, their domain of Bastion. There we find out that the arrival of Uther's broken soul, wounded by Frostmourne, it caused quite a chain reaction. The knowledge of powers from the Maw breaking out, it pushed Devos, paragon of loyalty, in confronting their Archon, proclaiming that their path is flawed. The Archon, however, refuses to listen, so Devos does her own thing, elevates Uther's soul before his time, and together they claim Arth's soul, drop directly into the Maw without being judged by the Arbiter. While Devos listens to the words of the Jailer, decides to join his team. More and more of the Kyrian begin to succumb to doubts, not helped by that whole anima drought thing. The so-called Forsworn pose a serious threat, but due to our efforts, Devos and our close confidant Lasonia, they're taken care of. But it does not end the Forsworn threat altogether. Uther, after learning that they were actually in league with the Jailer, he decided to step away from all of that, is now placed under the care of Tenios, Paragon of Wisdom. While partying in Bastion, the force of Maldrexus attacked, which is kinda weird, as they're supposed to be the ones protecting the Shadowlands. It's our next zone to visit. The Primus, leader of Maldrexus, he's been missing for a while, and his absence has caused the different houses to fracture rather than work together and safeguard the Shadowlands. The House of Ice and the House of Plagues have been destroyed. The House of the Chosen, that's taken over by Margrave Virens, while the House of Constructs and the House of Rituals, they're seemingly in league with the jailer, but in time, we find out that it's actually Kel'Thuzad that's been pulling the strings behind the scenes. He is an ally to the jailer, and is working on finding a way of getting his master out of the maw. We follow the guidance of the Primus, messages that he had left behind, and we unlock his seat. Together with brand new faces, as well as some familiar ones like Draka, who's Thrall's mother, Lady Vash, and Alexandros Mograine. We form our own little faction, we kick out the corruption. We somewhat restore Maldrexus to its original purpose. Now the Primus is still missing, the House of the Chosen is still in enemy hands, and the House of Ice, they still want their vengeance. One of the messages of the Primus, it told us that the only hope to save the Shadowlands was to have the Eternal Ones stand together once more, before the jailer escapes the maw. That meant that we're going to visit the Winter Queen in Arnaweald, but she's a little bit too busy for us. Arnaweald, it offers a cycle of rebirth. One that's now very much disturbed due to the anima droughts. They need to make hard choices. Which seeds, which groves get to carry on, and which ones fade away forever. The droughts also leads to some of the native creatures becoming far more hostile. And the Drust, they're trying to make use of the opportunity, break through the weakened borders, and take over Ardenweald. We help them out as much as we can, while running into a very special seed. This one contains Ysera spirits. We were forced to take her out back in Legion, as the corruption of the Emerald Nightmare had taken hold. Even now, she's still haunted by nightmares, but we help her out. We escort the seed, we take care of its nightmares, and feed it as much anima as we can, until it's then wounded in battle with the Drust. All the voices of Arnaweald sing together to grab the Winter Queen's attention. Despite Ysera being her sister's pet, despite the drought and so many sacrificed, she still decides to save her, binding Ysera the Green to Ardenweald. The Drust are taken care of as well. We also teamed up with Bon Samdi to take care of his boss Muzala, allied to the jailer. We teamed up with the Spirit of Vol'jin to save the Loa that had fallen during battle for Azeroth, save them from the maw. The Shadowhunter now rests in the seat himself, infused with the essence of Razan, Loa of Kings. Time will tell what's going to come out of that pod. And then there are the Night Elves. Those that have fallen, they also ended up in the Lands of Torment, but we were able to save a fair chunk of them. Tyrande is still on the prowl, not letting go of her lust for vengeance, with the powers of the Night Warrior slowly consuming her. We have begun to work on a plan to save her. We're going to gather more Night Warriors of old to try and share the power between them. Let us hope that it's going to come together in time, and that it will be enough to save the High Priestess. To keep the jailer contained, we're going to need a whole lot more anima. So the Winter Queen sends us over to the Master Extractors of Revendreth. Sire Denethrius is its ruler, but he's also an ally to the jailer. The souls that end up here, they're supposed to get a chance to pay for the sins committed in life. Like Gerar's Hellscream, who's been milked for quite a bit of anima. His spirit is nowhere to be found though, and all that stockpiled anima, it is sent straight into the maw. We decide to join the rebellion, led by Prince Renefal. We bring the different harvesters and their medallions to our side. Each medallion has been bestowed upon the Venfeir by the Sire himself. Great power when brought together. Not a gauntlet, but a crown is forged to wield the powers of the medallions as one. All of them, except for the Harvester of Wrath, have been recruited, so we still need to find a way to get them on our side. And after gathering enough power, it was time to storm Castle Nafria, take care of the Sire. Along the way, we also run into the spirit of Kil'Thuzad Sunstrider. He's been burdened with not just his own sins, but also those of others. His pain and hatreds are channeled to make him a powerful weapon. I personally think that this is what they use to shoot down the Arbiter, but that's not been confirmed. All the same, his soul has been imperiled like no other. So the Venfeir, they take him back home. They put him on the right path of potential redemption. And while the Sire is brought low, he is not completely gone, with his essence locked inside of his beloved blade Remornia. The light itself now contains Denethrius, with Renefal hoping that one day his master might go back to the way that he used to be, might go back to his true purpose. Perhaps one day. Or perhaps his master had been able to fool them all along, as we do come across a rather interesting book in Revendreth. It's called Enemy Infiltration Preface, and it pitches the idea that the Dreadlords originate from the Shadowlands and have then infiltrated all the different cosmic domains of the Warcraft universe. This also explains the bridge between Frostmourne and the Helm of Domination being created by the Jailer and then ending up in the hands of Kil'jaeden. That would have been done with the Dreadlords coming from Revendreth, but again, more details, more confirmation will follow. The book, it says that Disorder, Order, Light, Shadow and Life, all of them have been corrupted and manipulated from within. Say that you want more details, I'll link a separate video in which I speculate fully on this subject. So those are the leveling zones, the raid and all the things we went through. But the Maw, it remained a hostile place where we couldn't stay for too long, as the eye of the Jailer, Odin's eye, Muzala reveals, it constantly keeps an eye on us. Cause too much trouble there and the Jailer makes sure that you have to get out. Thankfully, we do find a powerful ally in the form of Venari. She's a broker that has managed to survive the Maw where the rest of her kin could not. Her expertise gives us the edge that we need as we take on the Jailer's forces. And let's not forget the original reason why we went into the Shadowlands. Bane, Jaina and Thrall, they are saved from the Tower of Torghast. Many hours were spent wandering its corridors, avoiding the painful traps, trying not to disturb the Taragru. Despite our best efforts though, King Anduin Wrynn still remains in the clutches of the Jailer and Sylvanas.
Sire Denathrius has been taken prisoner. What is our plan to recover him?
Every soul has its purpose. Denathrius has fulfilled his. We must forge our next weapon.
He's not ready.
Then a more direct approach is necessary. We have not come this far, only to falter now. You know what must be done.
There she is again. You know, these endless lectures of yours
Have failed to convince you. Regardless, the conversation is over. One way or another, we will have you. So I will offer this one last time. Join our cause, or be made to serve.
What kind of choice is that? Why even give me? It's the choice you never had. Despite all your grand designs, there's still some shred of your mortality haunting you. As if the Banshee Queen hasn't entirely eclipsed the Ranger General.
Don't.
Now I understand why you brought me here. Why you've tried so hard to persuade me. Because if you can get me to let go of hope, you finally can too.
Enough! Submit! You are only making this harder on yourself.
Not harder on me. Right now, you hold all the power. How will you use it?
I've not come this far to falter now.
Then why do you hesitate? Make your choice. Sylvanas Windrunner.
And on that cliffhanger, we go into patch 9.1, Change of Domination. You're up to speed with some of the highlights as to what happened in the Shadowlands so far. Now say that you want more details or read up on all the things that we talked about today, then check out the related WoW article in the description down below. Onwards and upwards into the next patch, the new lore and details that they're going to reveal. For now though, thank you very much for watching everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos, leave a like if you enjoyed this one. And until next time, see ya!